welcome to day 15 of Critical Encounters Villainous Yule calendar for December 2022. Here we get in the holiday spirit and take a quick look at some random festive aspect of the game. So let's peek behind the door and see what our so-called villains are up to.
Welcome to today's Villainous episode. It's me, Steve, and I am joined by a very special guest. We haven't had him on in a while. It's your favorite loyal doomling, BananaCrapShoot. Hey, how's it going?
Hey, Steve, thanks for having me. It's going well. Happy to be here and dive in today.
Yeah, we're happy to have you on. It's been a while since you've been on the show,
On any show, really.
Yeah, hey, life, right?
Life.
Especially this time of year. But you're on now, and we're going to do a little bit of sort of a high five kind of a thing you do. We're going to take a look at all the various XMen allies that we have, our XMens for Xmas, and we'll just sort of talk about them, maybe pick our favorite in each aspect and basic, and just a general conversation about that. Hey, before we get into it too deep, have you been enjoying the XMen wave?
I have been enjoying the wave. So I will say I have not played through all of Mutant Genesis yet, but I have played all the heroes against a bunch of like standalone scenarios. I don't know. I just haven't. So I haven't sleeved the scenarios yet for Mutant Genesis. And that's honestly why I haven't played yet, because I just haven't gotten myself to sleeve it. And I'm not going to play it without sleeving it.
Yeah. And we are recording this quite a while ahead of when it gets released. So folks will be like, it's been a month, but really it hasn't been that much time, hasn't passed. Well, that's good. I too am enjoying the X-Men stuff. We have a lot of allies that came with the X-Men. So should we pick an aspect here and kind of dive in? What do you think? Which one you want to do?
Sure, I'll let you pick. Dealer's choice.
Oh, all right. Well, we'll just start with aggression then. We'll start at A.
All right.
We have 5 X-Men allies at the time of this recording: Dust, Magic, Psylocke, Sunfire, and Wolverine. Those are the ones we have. Have you found a favorite out of them yet that you really like?
Magic.
Okay.
Magic's my favorite. I'll tell you why. So the stats are like whatever, 3 cost, right? 1 thwart, 2 attack, 3 health. What I like is just the theme of the card, right? So like she sends them to limbo by shuffling the minion back into the deck. Like I just love the theme of that. And she's a fairly costed ally with a potentially strong ability. I just the theme of it is what gets me with Magic.
Yeah, it is a pretty nice theme. I found a few times I tried to use her and I didn't have the right resource in my hand. I didn't have that mental resource to do her ability.
Yeah, that's so, I feel bad.
Yeah, so I'm like holding on to her because you don't want to play her without it, right? I feel like she's really a 4-cost ally because you wouldn't. I don't know if I would play her without there being a minion for me to target. I mean, have you found that?
Oh yeah, for sure. There's times where she ends up just being a resource, or even you just know you're not going to get the ability off, but it's still 4 attack and a block. So
okay, yeah,
like no ally's ever really terrible, right? It's just it's definitely a feel bad when you can't do it. I love the theme so much of it that I wanted to talk about it.
Yeah, and it is a great theme.
What about you? What's your favorite?
So there's 2 here. I was going to say Wolverine, but it's sort of like I'm sure everybody else has talked about Wolverine. The one I like instead, I'm going to go with instead is Sunfire. So Sunfire is a 2-cost, 1 thwart, 2 attack, 2 hit points with the response. After you play Sunfire from your hand, spend an energy resource. Choose an attachment with the text hero action or hero response and discard it. So it's another one of those ones where you got to have that extra resource in your hand when you play it. But I just love the idea of this ally coming in and burning off Rhino's horn or the vibranium armor that's on Ultron or whatever it is. It's
Goblin Glider. That's my go-to.
Yeah, or any of the ones that normally you'd have to make a basic attack against and spend some resources. Yeah, it's pretty fun. And I don't know the Sunfire character, so I couldn't tell you if the theme is on point or not. But from the art, it kind of looks right. It melted something off of the villain.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, so I've been enjoying that one. It's a little niche, right? A little niche but
Yeah,
whatever.
all the ones where you have to spend a specific resource, they're all a little more niche. But
Yeah. The other aggression allies are pretty solid. Psylocke can confuse enemies, and Dusk can like hit the whole board, which is pretty cool. So
I wish Psylocke cost 3. I just personally have a hard time finding room for 4-cost allies unless they're like bonkers. And like her ability is strong. I just wish she cost 3. That's all.
yeah, sure. Okay, so that's aggression. All right, so let's move on to justice. How about that?
All right, you want to go first this time?
Sure. Now we only have 3 justice allies at the time right now, which is pretty low. We have Banshee, we have Blindfold, and we have Marvel Girl.
Mm-hmm.
I have been enjoying, or I guess I should say the one I've played the most at this point has been Blindfold.
Okay. Yeah.
Blindfold's 3 cost, 2 thwart, 0 attack, 2 health, psionic, with the response after Blindfold enters play, look at the top 5 cards in the encounter deck, discard one of those cards and put the rest back in the same order. So it's pretty nice to be able to just go in and, remove one that
Yeah.
you just don't want to see. Now you do have to put them back, the rest back in the same order, so that can paralyze me sometimes. Well, if I remove this one, then this one becomes that one, and this will be the boost. But yeah, I like that card.
I get it. Yeah, it's strong ability.
What about you?
I think mine has to be Marvel Girl. Right, it's got the 3-2-1-3. And when she attacks, she removes threat equal to that minion's printed scheme, which that could be 2 or 3 pretty often. So, and you get the attack, so she sticks. I don't know. I just think Marvel Girl of the 3 is the better of them.
Yeah, she's pretty solid. So I agree. Anytime you can do 2 things at once, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
more things is usually better than less things.
Yeah, it's like right, a Daredevil, Brawn, those guys where you're focused on one thing, where you gain this bonus effect. So yeah, Marvel Girl's really good too. Whatever it is you're up to, it's over now, she says. But okay. All right, let's do leadership then. Now we got another stack of allies, which isn't a surprise in leadership, right? Beast, Gentle, Havoc, Mirage, Pixie. So we have quite a few to choose from. Your turn to go first.
I think I don't know. This one is the hardest for me. I think it's Gentle though.
Oh, okay.
And I don't know why. Like I don't really have a good reason. Because he takes 2 consequential damage if he attacks the villain. But that's not what I've been using him for. He's like sometimes leadership decks. Sometimes, right? Not often, but sometimes they can struggle with some minions. So like having a dude that can just 3-slap minions pretty often is nice. But it does stink that he takes the 2 consequential on the villain, but I like him for punching down minions.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. 3 attack. I don't know the Gentle character either. So
I don't know Gentle either.
I just, according to his quote, that's the best I'm going to get, right? So, yeah, that's solid. I'm split again on this one. I think Beast is a lot of fun. I mean, for effectively 2 cost, you get a 2 thwart, 2 attack, and 3 health minion. Ally. Yeah. But I've been really happy with the gameplay of getting out of Pixie.
Okay.
She's 2 costs, 1 thwart, 2 attack, 2 health, aerial, whatever. After you play Pixie from your hand, add an XMen Ally from your discard pile to your hand. So just that ability to go back and grab somebody who's already been out, like a key character, or somebody who's died or whatever. I just like that build.
Recursion. Yeah.
Yeah. And it becomes like, even if you can't play that, she really only costs you 1 because you could play the resource. You could use that ally you go fetch as a resource. So it's just cheap. But the recursion's nice with her. So
I think your answer is the right answer. I think the recursion has to be stronger than attacking a minion for 3.
Well, I won't say no to being correct.
Yeah.
So. All right, so we made it through 3 of them. We have protection next.
Uh-huh.
And again, we only have 3 allies at this point. Nightcrawler, Polaris, and Rock Slide. And I
Yep.
think it's my turn to go first.
Yep, you go first.
It's Nightcrawler. I'm not going to debate on that one. We could share, right? I mean, he's so good.
Yeah,
Okay,
it has to be Nightcrawler. I agree.
3 cost, 2 thwart, 2 attack, 2 hit points. But who cares? I don't care about any of that stuff. It says interrupt ability. When an X-Men character would take any amount of damage from an enemy attack, spend an energy resource and return Nightcrawler to your hand. Prevent all of that damage. It's freaking amazing, right?
Yeah, it's really good. I mean,
if you can get him out and you can keep him out.
are you sure you don't think it's Rock Slide? I mean,
I mean, Rock Slide's fun.
He has Retaliate 1. I mean,
and 6 hit points. So I think Rock Slide is just a wall. I don't know if you're ever going to actually use him.
right.
You'd never get his Retaliate. But no, Nightcrawler, come on.
Nightcrawler, yeah. First of all, it's Nightcrawler, right?
Right. Bamf.
Second of all, the ability is awesome, right? And like the theme was like, oh, he's like, you just see him like bamfing around the room, moving people around, so they're not getting hit. I like it.
Yeah. He's either moving you or he's moving them or whatever. Yeah, it's so good. I'm thinking
Or
of
himself,
Right. Yeah, he could defend. He could block and just poof.
He can bamf himself.
Yep. And he doesn't have to exhaust to do it.
Nope.
So he could already be exhausted.
Yep.
Yeah. He could, maybe defend a 1 cost minion or something, 1 attack minion or something like that, and then still do it for the villain's attack for, your partner or something. So, yeah, he's crazy. It's like cheating. I feel like it's cheating.
I think it is cheating. Yeah.
It's sort of like the X-Men's version of the Hawkeye Mockingbird, right?
Yep. Yeah. It's pretty much the same thing, right?
Yeah.
I think it's slightly different, right?
Yeah, it's a little different, but it's got that same feel to it. All right, so now we're on to the basic cards, and we got a lot of basic X-Men. We got Angel, 2 Colossus, Forge, Longshot, Professor X, and Storm. And you're up. You're up first.
Professor X.
Oh, okay.
Professor X. So you can confuse the villains, right? You can confuse the villain, stun a minion, or ready an X-Men character. So I like the versatility for 3. Plus, if you pair with Pixie, right, at the end of the round, he's discarded. So you can use him to block or whatever. He goes, you just good pile. You can Pixie bring him back, right? So with the recursion, you can do a lot of things with Professor X, do lots of cool stuff.
Yeah, he's great. I'm disappointed we only have 1 copy of him, but we have 2 Colossus at this point, which seems weird. Because I'd like to put more than 1 Professor in my decks.
Right.
Yeah. He's great. I won't pick him. I'll pick a different character. I'm enjoying Forge.
Okay.
And he's like a setup. So he's a 2 cost, 1 thwart, 1 attack, 2 health. But the response after Forge enters play, search your deck and discard pile for an X-Men or X-Force support and add it to your hand. So it's that same idea with Pixie. He gets to go grab me a piece that I need to build with, or return a piece that I lost from a encounter card. So, and he's cheap. It's cheap.
Yeah, and he can go grab like the X-Jet and stuff. So.
Yep, there's a bunch of X supports out there now. So.
Yeah.
X-Men. And since he says X-Force on him, I'm guessing we're going to get X-Force cards moving forward, right?
That one can only assume.
Right. Seems to
But
track.
you know what assuming does, though.
Yes. But we're family friendly, so I won't say it. Yeah, all right. And then the other ones in basic are, I think Storm's interesting. She's interesting, but man, she's expensive.
So let me ask you this, a little curveball. I don't know if you're playing on this. What about the signature ally of the ones we've had released so far?
Oh, okay. Let me think about them. So we have we have a Shadowcat ally. We have a Cyclops ally. We have a
Lockheed.
Okay.
Phoenix.
Yep.
And Jubilee, I think, because I don't think Storm has one.
Jubilee, right.
Yeah, I don't think Storm has one, right?
Jubilee is pretty fun because when she comes out with Wolverine, they both get this big boost and you can make these big attacks or whatnot. But I think I like Cyclops because he really integrates with Jean Grey's whole shtick with her Phoenix form. And you can get the extra counters. You can use them up, remove the counters. I think it kind of it helps. I think he's more integrated with the mechanics of her than some of the other ones, right? So,
Yeah, for sure.
how about you?
Mine was going to be Jubilee.
Okay. Yeah, I mean she's still good. So
Yeah, just because I mean, like you said, you get +2 attack for both of them against an enemy, and it's any enemy when she enters play, right? So it's not like it has to be limited to a minion. Like you can just, and if you have your Wolverine like built right and set up ready to go, and you get +2 attack for each time they attack an enemy that phase, like that could be game over if you set it up.
yeah.
That's all I got for that.
Yeah. I guess Lockheed also
He messes with the forms.
yeah, he at least interacts with whatever form she is. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I wonder. I guess you might not know this. I'd have to look it up. Are there any cards like an event that like, hey, you play this card and you can trigger the like after enters play response of another card already in play?
I don't think so. I get what you're saying. Like,
I feel like that'd be a cool card. Like I already have Lockheed down, right?
yeah.
And then like later on in the game, I play this other card that allows me to use the Lockheed enters play ability again after he's already in play.
Play it again, Sam. Something like that.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Repeat that effect. Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be a good ability. There's a card for you, FFG. Go ahead. Make that.
Yeah. That one's free. The next one's not. So I'm kind of looking here, and the one thing that I was gonna say, like a lot of the basic allies are like reduce the cost to play this by 1, and they don't really do anything else, right?
Yeah, there's Angel does that, Colossus does that, Storm does that.
And Storm is the only one that like
Has an ability.
I like the ability, right? Like Colossus has toughness, and Angel has aerial, but
yeah,
Storm has aerial, but she costs 5.
Right. So you're never going to play her outside of X-Men or Mutant or whatever, right? So drop her to a 4.
Yeah.
And then she's a 2/2/3. Okay. But then her ability is interesting, right? When Storm thwarts a scheme, move 2 threat from that scheme to another scheme. So she thwarts for 2, and then she shoves 2 off of it. So you really have to you have to have somewhere to push it. Right?
So I think if we would ever get like, I think Lord of the Rings kind of had this, right? Like with like player, like side quest type stuff, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
If we ever got like player schemes or like I don't know, would that work?
Yeah. Oh, like a side. Well, I was thinking like side schemes that don't have some negative effect on them that you don't care about. You can just shove threat over to. Like maybe I think there's one where like it goes in. There's a jail one in Red Skull or something. You got to go put your signature allies under it or something like that. And maybe you don't care to get them back, so you can just dump threat on it because you're like, I don't care about those guys. I'm never going to get them back. Maybe that kind of side scheme where you're not worried about it having a hazard or a crisis or something like that.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's an interesting card. I think if we get I think it really depends on what you're playing and what schemes are in that deck.
Yeah. The other thing I've noticed with her is you can kind of math it out a little bit. Like, well, if I thwart for 2 on the main and push 2 off to this side scheme, that'll put 3 there, and you're going to thwart for 3, so that's more efficient because you can take all 3 off instead of just 1 or 2. Like sometimes you can kind of finagle the numbers. Sometimes. Yeah, not all the time, but once in a while it works out, and you're like, oh, that's nice. So yeah. All right, we have Sunfire and Magic, Blindfold and Marvel Girl, Pixie and Gentle, Nightcrawler and Nightcrawler, Professor X and Forge. So if you had to pick one of those for the best one or your most fun that you're having right now, what do you think?
Nightcrawler. I think Nightcrawler.
Yeah, I think I was going to say Nightcrawler too. It's just fun. He's just fun.
He's just fun.
And he's strong.
Very.
Well, I can't wait to see what other kind of allies we might get, if we're going to get more protection ones or justice ones. And this conversation is prior to Gambit and Rogue. So I don't know what they'll have with them. That'll be fun to see.
Yeah, we don't know. We could do this again after, and we probably have a completely different outlook.
Well, hey, man, thanks for coming on. Thanks for chatting with us for a little while, talking about some X-Men at Xmas.
Thanks for having me. Hopefully, the mojo's still good. See what I did there?
I see it. Yeah, that's great. All right, folks. Thanks for sitting down and talking with us, and we'll have a good one. Bye-bye.
Hey, folks. Hope you enjoyed that. That was our special gift to you. You want to send us holiday gifts? You can email us at criticalencounterspod@gmail.com. We are Critical Encounters on Facebook, or you can find us on YouTube by searching for Critical Encounters Podcast. And on Discord, we are Vardane, Big Fumbloaf, and Wandering Took. If you like our show, tell Santa. If you don't like our show, tell Krampus. Good night, everyone.